So we're gonna start the day, or at least this video, by showing you a little bit of the routine that we've been going through lately. So I'll show you the red light, obviously. Waking up early before the sunrise just kind of happens naturally. It's not something that I do consciously. And then we get the jump rope going just to get the vestibular system awoken and get some lymphatic drainage as well. And then we basically just rip honey and fruit and coffee up until, early afternoon. And then we have our protein meal, maybe a little something sweet depending on the structure of what that last meal is really going to be. Now, I'm not going to always be this mellow on these videos, just kind of the vibe. And when you have neighbors, you want to be courteous. Trust me, there's some times that I can be juiced, and I am juiced, but today's rest day. We're taking it a little bit easier. So one thing I've been kind of mulling on lately has been this idea that your career is essentially a bank robbery. Now, what do I mean by that? If you think of any great action movie, if you think of any great movie about bank robberies, there is a time constraint on it. Any plot line that gets extended out to essentially a timeless sort of objective, there's no fun in that. There's a lot of fun in the constraint of the time to see if the protagonist can get the job done. That's what keeps you engaged. That's what keeps you coming back for more. And when you think about a bank robbery, I think of like Grand Theft Auto. You have the missions, you have the objectives, the tasks, you lay out a plan, and almost always the plan never goes the exact way you want it to. That is essentially how you structure your career. You can lay out the most perfect plan in the world, and there's probably a 99% chance it's not going to go exactly that way. But there should be that level of urgency to whereas the cops are coming. You gotta get the job done. You gotta get the cash, and you gotta get out of there. But you gotta do it in such a way that you don't blow up the entire operation. Now, as it relates to your athletic career, you might only have 4 years. You might only have 8 years. You might only have 2 years. And your job is to essentially collect as much cash as you can in that time, or do well enough so you can buy yourself more of that time on the back end, which in this scenario is the cash in the robbery. You're stealing that time away from the bank and giving yourself that opportunity to use that money or that time playing a children's game in order to glean new experiences and meet new people, and maybe even get more opportunities to continue to play that game in the future. And sometimes even people will pay you to do that. So there has to be that urgency there, and you have to have that plan. And if you don't, and you show up to the bank and you're just like, where's the money? And they're like, well, we don't have it. Or they hit the red button. Cops will be here in 45 seconds. And then you just have to scramble to try and figure something out. Like, that's not a very good plan. And the likelihood of that succeeding is so much lower than going in there with an actual tactical operation that you can execute upon. You need to have that urgency. You need to have that plan. Everyone I know that's had success has had some semblance of that plan. Now, they might have had to adjust along the way. Absolutely. It doesn't mean that they were willy-nilly about it, just saying, we'll just kind of get in there and see what happens. It's like, no, they know exactly what they needed to do, exactly what areas they need to hit, exactly what door they had to go into, where the security guards were going to be, where the safe was, where the clerks were. Same thing with you. You know what you suck at. Maybe you're not mobile. Maybe you don't have the throwing volume that you need. Maybe you're injured. Maybe you're not strong. Maybe you're not fast. Maybe you're not explosive. Maybe you only have a fastball. Maybe you only have a slider or a curveball or changeup. Maybe you can't locate anything. Maybe you can locate too well and everybody just hits the absolute daylights out of you. So you need to identify those weak points, lay out that master plan, talk to your team, or find somebody that can sit in the truck wearing a wire, relaying instructions to you to figure out what you got to do to get the cash and get out of there. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. But we're just enjoying the weather today, enjoying some Joe. Stay tuned. More to come.